You're listening to Wicked Thoughts, a podcast by Flair Castro. This show helps founders and professionals understand business trends, social media, digital lifestyle, and how to be a better entrepreneur. For season 4, we cover topics powered by a dash of social. Let's start learning in 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Wicked Thoughts Season 4. So I have with me Miss Janette Toral. She is, first and foremost, I would really call her my mentor. That's basically the thing that has helped me with my career, with her being a mentor for me. But aside from that, I would say that she is one of the forerunner of everything digital related in the Philippines. Right now, she consider herself a social media specialist. She has been she has been running digitalfilipino.com, of which I was a member as well before. And it has been running for 22 years already. So guys, help me welcome Miss Janette Toral. Hi, Miss Janette.
Flair, thank you so much, Flair, and congratulations to your ever-growing podcast. And finally, glad to be part of this. It's an honor. Thank you.
Definitely. I've been looking for the perfect season to bring you on board. And of course, since we're talking about Dash of Social for season 4, you would be one of the perfect guests to bring in the podcast. So yeah, Miss Janet, I know I've described what you are doing, what you're currently busy with. I would love to hear that. And I'm sure our guests, our audience as well would love to hear from you. How would you describe yourself?
Currently, I describe myself more as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
I would consider myself as a digital leadership coach.
Right.
So more often than not, it covers a variety of topics. So I guess, as you said, most usually around digital. So people
Mm-hmm.
needing advice or inputs on their e-commerce initiatives or on their digital
Right.
marketing or social initiatives, and they vary from different sectors. And usually it also cuts across other soft skill related type of concerns like branding, leadership, sales, business development, and the likes.
Right. So guys, Miss Janet has been a mentor not just for me. I remember I took the Ateneo Digital Filipino course, and I think that was the closest I was with Miss Janet when I started my career. So I ended up getting the certification for it. I'm a certified blog and social media entrepreneur, and that course from her was one of the parang stepping stones from my freelancing into being a digital agency owner talaga. So I think from here, Miss Janet, I would love to take this chance to say thank you for everything that you have done for me and for my career. So we've been working on a lot of projects together, and I think last year our biggest was the e-commerce entrepreneur summit, diba? So yeah, I mean, in terms of
That's our last
yeah.
one. But our biggest was the e-commerce summit and influencer summit a few years back because they all have to be face to face.
Yes, and it has
Last
that
year was the
offline
longest.
component. It was
Last
the
year was the
longest.
longest last year. We were working on it
Oo.
for 9 months. Grabe, di ba?
Imagine.
Oo.
It was the longest, but it was fun because we were able to, I think, for me, Miss Janet, parang we were able to move really fast with how we are going to deliver it, especially in the middle of a pandemic. Everything changed. Our plan was to really have it offline, the usual events that we have. And then suddenly with the pandemic, everything closed down. We had to change it up. 9 months of promotion into changing it into a series of mini events. That was an experience, heck of an experience.
I agree. I agree.
Mm-mm. So yeah, I mean, since we are talking about dash of social media, how would future or incoming entrepreneurs do self promotion on social media? What do you think would be the best strategies to do so if they want to be similar to you and how you run your business or how you promote yourself? What are some things that we can tell them, Miss Janet?
I think they still have to establish the fundamentals, no, which is all about building relationships. Because no
Mm.
matter how much you promote online, but if you don't establish relationships, if you don't sustain them, if you don't strengthen them, then any relationships that you will have or any value added that you have achieved will be short lived. No, so when we
True.
talk about relationships, it's all about building your network. No, in the book yourself solid methodology, we call that the like building a network of 90. So for example, you compile a list of people. This can be your current customers, past customers, current partners, past partners, current mentors, past mentors, or people that you have dealt with one way or another that has helped you in whether in a big way or in a small way. It depends on how you want to rank your 90 people. And then you think about ways that you can keep in touch with them at least once a month, and you keep in touch by adding value. You don't just say hi, hello, but you really try to look for something where you can add value as part of that one-on-one conversation. I think that is very important because at the end of the day, people want to do business with people they like. So
Mm.
whether
True.
whether everything is equal or everything is not equal, let's say if there are several choices and all of the choices are very competitive, still people will do business with those that they like. So if you want to enter that likable range more than any other person, then that means that you have to continuously strengthen your relationships, no? um, and then of course, if you don't have enough people to fall into a 90 people count category where you can keep in touch with at least three people every day and add value to them, then you can also invest in outreach. So
Mm.
outreach can be people that maybe you want to build relationships with. This can be your Facebook friends, but they haven't really matured into a customer relationship. So
Right.
you try
Mm.
to add value to them at least once a month, and hopefully over, and you do your effort, like appreciating their content, interacting with them at least once a month. You don't have to do
True.
it every week or every day. You look like a stalker if you do that. um, but at least you do it once a month, and then you try to add value as well to that person. And hopefully maybe after 6 months, or maybe less, you'll be able to mature or level up that relationship and look for ways that you can, of course, add value. And then from a networking perspective, so networking with people,
Mm-hmm.
networking with people you haven't really leveled up the relationship, no, the
Mm-hmm.
outreach. You can also build your referral network, people who can give you business or people you can give business to. So sometimes people are shy to touch base with you if they try to refer someone and it did not materialize, partly like they disappointed you because it did not materialize.
Oh.
But actually, it is important that you also build your referral network, keeping them posted, keeping them
Mm.
updated, add value to them, because sooner or later, who knows, they might be able to give you a second referral, a third referral, or you in your own way, you can also give something back. So you just work on continuously adding value. So I think that
Mm.
would be the first
Totoo.
one, the face-to-face connection. That would be the first one.
But in such a situation like now, Miss Janet, na everything is done online, we're working from home, lots of Zoom sessions, Google Meet, and all that. How does one give that value, or how does one build that kind of relationship when we're just in front of the screen? I mean, we're not fully open yet, diba, because of the pandemic. What would
I
you
think it's
suggest?
I think it's really about reaching out and trying
Mm-mm.
to catch up one on one, because a
True.
lot of people, like as you said, no, they might take communication for granted.
Mm-mm.
So investing in your one on one meetings can be really important, whether you're offering a
Mm.
free consultation session or a free coaching session, or you say that, hey, I noticed this. If you need help, um, I still have free coaching sessions this month if you want to avail of it. So
Mm-mm.
like usually in my case, whenever I end my talks, I offer a free 30-minute consultation session. So usually I would find a few people availing that, very few people avail that. But at least for those who avail, I really make time to conduct the session. And for your existing contacts, you can schedule it like a gift giving, like for example the
Ah,
holiday season is coming in, so to a
mm-mm.
few years ago, like I think 2 to 3 years, maybe 2 years ago, I remember giving that as a free gift, giving people a growth coaching session. So I
Yes, I
think
think I remember that.
yes, I
Mm-mm.
think you also avail of that, Flair. I think
Yes.
around 200 people avail of that, and I think that was a great investment on my end. Of course,
Mm-mm.
not everyone, of course, you give that with the best intention of adding value, because these people are important to you, but of course eventually some of them paid off, no, very few,
Oo.
they're the few ones that paid off, they're really good. So but at the end of the day, it's you adding value, so you look for ways that you can continuously add value to people.
True. So this is parang part the networking, the outreach, the referral. We have to be
Oh.
really out there and like show up in for these people. Now, I remember also I'm not really comfortable speaking before, no. It was not my forte. I'm really introverted, and you were the one who really pushed for me to speak. I remember we had an event dun sa isang hotel in Cebu. That was really the first that I had to organize everything. I had to organize the event. I also had to speak. I was like, parang na ano ako dun. Parang, parang I was overwhelmed because it was something na beyond my, comfort zone. So how do you think speaking would help? Being a speaker, being a consultant, like you said, how does that help? If you build up that kind of portfolio, your speaking portfolio.
I think speaking is very important, no? Kasi that's the fastest way that you can try to build your credibility. Of course,
Mm-mm.
if you don't have speaking opportunities where you can speak at events, if there are no events where you can speak, I think the beauty now is that you can organize your own speaking events. You can organize your
True.
own FB events, FB Live, and
Mm.
you can also organize without you speaking yourself. No, you can invite people to be a guest speaker, or you function as a moderator or as a host.
Right.
But in the process, you also try to build your credibility by being associated with other speakers. And then after a while, then maybe when you get comfortable already, then you can step up and be the speaker yourself. No, so that can be one way of doing it. Similar to some
Oo.
some of the experts, like I remember, I encountered people who tried building their blogs. No, I remember their first 10 or first 20 blog posts were interviews of other people, because the intention there
Mm.
is for the network of these people to be the one to visit the blog post, because they will all be promoting the blog because they got featured there.
Totoo,
And
oo.
then later on they were able to position themselves. So there are many ways that you can go about it, but definitely speaking is one way for you to add value, especially if you are speaking from the perspective of you educating someone rather than
Mm.
promoting yourself, rather than hard selling. Sometimes you don't
Mm.
even have to hard sell, you just focus on adding value, and then sooner or later it can also convert, no, to potential clients who really appreciate, who really thinks that, who will realize that you are the person that can solve their problems or help them with their needs.
Totoo. And then, I remember being out there talaga. I considered it parang advocacy na when you go out and when you speak, and then even if you don't get anything from it, like any fees at all, di ba? It's like advocating what you believe in and what the topics that you consider yourself to be a thought leader of. Paano kaya, Miss Janet, if I'm the introvert, I'm an introvert, and then I had to get out of my shell to do the speaking part. So if there are students out there, like your students, for example, how did you parang coach them out of their comfort zone? How do you usually do that?
I just invite them to become speakers.
Exactly.
Bingo. I remember one of my students was very shy. And then during the event, I told her that, why don't you share some insights on how to become a virtual assistant? And she was so shy. But so when she started speaking, she was so tense. But at the end, her talk was really great because it really added value. No? And and sometimes you just have to be some I think, as long as you have someone at least recognizes your potential, sees your potential,
True,
that
true.
that gives you that encouragement. I think by default, all of us wanted to be encouraged. and we always try
Mm-mm.
to live up the expectation of another person. So if that
Oo.
person has seen your potential and somehow more or less given you some expectations of what you can be, so in deep within you want to fulfill that expectation or even
Mm.
surpass that expectation given, and there's more moral boost, because before, without encouragement, you might be shy to take the initiative.
Totoo.
But if somebody gives that encouragement, you now have a reason to take the initiative because you want
Oo.
to prove yourself.
And then some of them actually become like they level up, 'di ba? They become streamers, they become speakers themselves, they become podcasters. So now they're out there. How does it feel for you, Miss Janet? Like as a mentor, like you see your students succeeding in their field. How does that make you feel? I wonder.
Well, of course, you feel happy about it, but I'm also, I don't want to get their success into my head, because
Mm-mm.
let's say even if I was a teacher at one point in their life, I'm only what 1%, 2% of what they have become, because at the end of the day, um, your network, your perseverance, the development of your
Mm-mm.
integrity, your
Mm-mm.
character, all of those come into play. How you invested in your
True.
relationships, how you treat people, how you connected with people, how you develop your talent and skill, how you build your portfolio, all of that forms a bigger part of who you become. So definitely, of course, we're very happy whenever we see other people succeed. We
Agree.
also don't try to latch on their success. It's not like, oh, I'm very proud of you. You were my student before. I don't do that. No, parang that's like credit grabbing. No, so parang um, oh, sometimes, of course, you get emotionally carried away because you're so happy. But later on, I realized I should not. I know that I should not be doing that, because you don't try to. I think it's unfair to, even though you have good intentions, it might appear like you're trying to get credit on other people's
Tama
success.
'no. Oo, and I see a lot of consultants like that. I think especially if they're offering, let's say, free classes because they want to promote their social media, what you call that, classes. Tapos they see their students succeeding. You can always see them in the comments, 'di ba? Na parang, oh, I'm happy that you were, part of the cohort and all that. So yeah, I agree with you. There are definitely some out there who credit grab.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
but then I agree with you na parang it's the whole package, how you're presenting yourself. And speaking of presenting yourself, let's say, of course, we're talking about social media here, Miss Janet, no? Where does writing come in social media? Because when you use your platform to advocate for something or to stand for something, especially right now in the elections, no, there's always that writing part na your voice being out there would represent you as yourself. How do you use this one? How do you use writing as a tool for self promotion in social?
Of course, that's where you communicate your thoughts, because there's only too little that you can communicate through images. Of course, although we might say that an image can speak 1,000 words, and our
Mm-mm.
videos can also say a lot, but there are people who will not be patient enough to listen through a 45-minute audio. There are people who will not be
Agree.
patient enough to watch a 45-minute video. So the nice thing about text is that at a glance, within the first 10 seconds or within the first 5 seconds, you can already decide whether this makes sense or not. So
Mm-mm.
definitely writing can be very powerful. Now, outside of social media, if we publish content on our blog, if we publish content I think on third party websites, that's where you also build your reach. Because if you
Mm-mm.
only publish within your platform, within your Facebook page, within your profile, within your Facebook group, within your website, you're only farming, because you're only talking to people who know you already. However, the
Mm-mm.
moment you start publishing your content, and let's say it appears on other people's groups, on other people's pages, on other entities' websites, then that's where you expand. That's where you try to scale and build momentum for your content, because you're trying to attract
Mm-mm.
other readers.
Mm-mm.
But of course, that will take time. But definitely, it can be worth the investment, because for a lot of people who might be contemplating of getting people in your category,
Mm-mm.
one of the ways that they will find you is through your writing. yes, they might find you through your videos, but your writing will be a heavy influence, because on even on search engine results, that is the thing that ranks first, more
Oh,
often
that's
than not,
true.
more
Mm-mm.
often than not. That's why we can't ignore it. Although social media content is also searchable, but they are easily forgettable. Like your viral post today that might have 300 likes, 500 likes, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, it's forgotten. And you still be lucky if people will be able to search it. But if you converted that to an article, like either inside a social media platform or you publish it on your website, then the
Mm-mm.
potential for reach might be higher.
Oo. And I agree with that kasi I know that some of the referrals, some people that message me even via email now, may mga leads pa rin kami that we receive because of the articles that we published on Third Team before, like long time ago. It still has value. But then parang in comparison, Miss Janet, you have these search engines crawling the content that you create because of your writing. There's also the part na on social media, even if we know na parang there's a half life for the posts that we publish. But I feel like it has more impact, especially on the things that you say that might be outside the context of your work. Let's say, for example, ngayon, I mean, people are posting about politics, and I'm not sure if you have like a stand for this, but Tonyo, when I interviewed him, he said that before we are practitioners in our industry, we are Filipinos first. So in a way, how do you think people should police themselves, or like especially for us practitioners, how should we police ourselves so that the things that we write on social media don't affect our don't affect our careers?
Mm, well, actually, it's a risk that you have to take, no? It can be part of your branding, it can be part of your packaging. I remember there was a time during elections that I would be writing articles also about politicians, either sharing my sentiment, but I usually do only one or two, no? When
Mm.
especially when the cup is full already, where okay, it's enough. I have to type something, no? That I would feel that maybe
Mm.
in my own small way I can contribute to the discussion, but not in all discussions. But also you have there's a part of it where you have to be careful, especially if you are um like in my case, since I conduct trainings and sometimes my training programs are in collaboration with certain government agencies, there's
True.
actually social media decorum for government personnel. Although
Mm.
even if you are not
Mhm.
government personnel, but you don't want to make your you don't want to make the people that you work with uncomfortable with you because you're not following their protocol, no?
Totoo.
So I
Mm.
guess that's part of the consideration. So if maybe when the time comes when I'm not gonna stream anything on Facebook Live that will be under a government agency brand, then I'll be more than comfortable speaking my heart out, my brains out. But I think if I see myself doing more of that, then I guess there are things that maybe I can just keep it to myself for now, out of respect, no, for the institutions, the people that I work with, and also the public that I serve, so that whatever work I do will not have any color, as they would say, no.
Ah.
So I guess that's where
Oo.
you really have to. I guess that's where you really have to decide, no. Parang a part of it is a function of ethics, I guess, no. A part of it is
Yes,
a function
yes.
of ethics,
Mm.
or if you don't want to call it ethics, I guess it's like work ethic, or
Mm.
respect, no, respect for your peers, no. So being sensitive to other people's emotions, no. I guess
Mhm.
that's where one can also come from.
Agree, and especially the heated discussions right now about the colors and all. So, if you want to stay neutral because you want to protect your interests, you don't have an agenda yourself, then maybe just keep it on the down low, depending on who you're aligned with. I think so.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, ayan, Miss Janet, if we could go through all the social media platforms, if I could ask you whether these tools are actually helpful for your students or for fellow entrepreneurs, how helpful do you think Twitter is right now?
Twitter, I think it still allows you to keep in touch with a lot of with people.
Mm-mm.
It allows you to connect still with your network, because I remember I was still able to get some conversions via
Oo.
Twitter. So for me, I use Twitter like a bookmarking tool. So there are articles
Ah,
that
right.
I like
Mm-mm.
to, if there are articles that I like, I tweet them. So in the process, it functions as a bookmarking tool because it appears in my profile. But at the
Right.
same time, it can also add value to others.
Mm-mm.
Sometimes if I want to rant or say something, I will do it on Twitter because I
Oh my God,
recognize
ako
that,
din.
because I really recognize that it's already a rant platform. So I guess it's safer to say something there because it's a bit normal, no, to say something there. And then, but I'm interested how things will change because they now added tipping on Twitter. So if you are on iOS, you can turn on the tipping feature on your profile.
Huh.
So
Maybe I
I
should update
already
mine. I haven't
Oh,
seen that.
I already turned on the tipping feature on my profile. Although I haven't done anything that may be worth tipping, but something that I am interested exploring, so that just to understand how it works. Um, so I think it's still a useful platform. I still find myself communicating with a lot of
Mm.
people, connecting with a lot of people, and I think it's a good platform also to talk about issues that you are really interested in. And maybe when the time
Mm.
comes whether I want to reveal the parties that I support, the colors that I
Oh,
support, maybe I'll do it
that
on
will be on
Twitter.
Twitter.
That would be.
Right.
Although right now I'm more neutral with the content. Like if politician A said something nice that I think it makes sense, I like it. If somebody else said something nice, I say I like it, because I think all of
Mm.
them by default have good potential. All of them wants
Mm.
to serve.
The best intentions. True.
Everyone wants to do good for the country. So I
Mm.
guess may the best man or may the best woman win.
Totoo. And to just say it, Twitter is actually one of my favorite platform talaga. Like top favorite top. So how about LinkedIn, Miss Janet? Is it helpful for entrepreneurs, especially in the Philippines?
I think LinkedIn is useful, especially if you are in a situation where you want to build your reach out,
Mm.
if your focus is outreach.
Mm.
So like in my case, I use LinkedIn to really expand my connections.
Mm.
And
Mm.
although you can also get conversions there, especially for your free webinars, especially if you know how to use it well, use the event
Mm.
feature platform of LinkedIn, posting it on your page, and then being able to alert people of the updates. It has those cool tools too.
Mm.
And then I also like the sales navigator feature of
Mm.
LinkedIn. I activated my sales navigator subscription there, so it
Ah, so
allows me
it's a
to follow.
premium
It
account.
allows me to track companies, allows me to connect with people who set their settings to follow. So no,
Mm.
I don't want to follow you. I want to connect with you. I do it through Sales Navigator.
That's helpful. That's helpful.
Yes,
How about for yeah, go ahead.
and of course you get updates in the process, and it allows
Mm.
you to keep you posted. So for example, like when I recently had a study focusing on the BPO sector, so I was trying to
Mm.
connect with the players in the sector. So
Mm.
LinkedIn was very powerful, and then I was able to monitor also their activities because they're actively posting on the platform, and I was able to follow a lot of the personalities there as well. So that's easier to do on LinkedIn rather than on Facebook.
Yes, and in a way, it's already targeted because you can see, you can already profile them based on what they have,
That's
on
right.
their profile. And for Instagram, I'm sure it's very helpful for e-commerce companies right now. Do you think Instagram is still worth the time investing in?
Um, y- Definitely Instagram has its market, especially for foodie influencers.
Yes.
I think that's the primary platform. And but for regular postings, definitely it's not really the platform for promoting your stuff, although I was able to get some
Mm-mm.
conversions there also when promoting our
Mm-mm.
events. But I guess it's a platform where you can really share stories. I think
Mm-mm.
it's really designed for that. So I guess if you want to channel the appropriate content for the
Mm-mm.
right platform, then I guess anything you love about food, I won't post it on Facebook. Most likely I will post it on Instagram.
That will be on IG, definitely.
Mhm.
And of course, our favorites, si Facebook. Still relevant ba? I think there's a lot of competition already.
There's a lot of competition, but if you were able to establish your network early, then it's a platform for you to keep in touch with your network.
Mm.
But I suggest, of course, making sure that you have a backup. So, like for example, your Facebook connections can be your LinkedIn connections, or your
Ah.
Facebook connections are also you follow them on Twitter or on Instagram, so that if in case Facebook goes down for one reason or another,
Ah, yeah.
you are not at
Recently.
loss, no. Um, and because when that thing happened, diba, it affected everyone, no, especially people running ads. The ads were a mess because of that outage, no, and it took a week for that out. I mean, I think hindi pa nga siya fully recovered, no, to the point it disrupted everyone's settings. They have to do it all
Yes.
over again. Your
Stabilize.
ads, which may be converting 5x, all of a sudden it's only converting 1x, no.
Oh gosh.
So there can be a lot of challenges, but
Yeah.
still, it's a powerful tool to connect with people. It's a powerful tool to share content. But I guess if you've been there in the platform for too long, then you have to think
Mm-mm.
about ways that you can still continuously add value. Do you
Mm-mm.
go with the trend, with the way how things are being discussed, or do you just focus to what you truly are and what value you provide and be consistent with it?
Right, right. Still value at the end of the day. Now, of course, we've mentioned the top parang platform before, but now it's TikTok that's on top. I mean, lots of businesses want to try and see how they can leverage the value of, I mean, the use of TikTok right now. How do you use this in your campaigns, Miss Janet?
I think TikTok, the only reason it is on top is because people are downloading TikTok for the first time.
Oh,
I
true.
think from that perspective, because they rank it at top from the most downloadable app, because a lot of people
Mm,
are downloading it for the first time.
mm-mm,
So I guess it's only for the time being a new application. But if you will
mm-mm.
compare it to the formidable ones, they have been downloaded for quite some time and they're just refreshing. So we cannot say that they are less
Parang
popular.
temporary spike. Oo.
It's a whether it will be able to sustain itself, I guess, remains to be seen. I guess for TikTok, it really has its own audience because it's not your usual feed where you'll be seeing a lot of content. You really have to hang out there so that you'll be able to see a lot of content. And
Especially the trending
maybe,
ones. Mm-mm.
yes, and I think maybe it's working right now because of the pandemic situation, people looking for content that may entertain themselves. But it will be interesting how it will perform once things really get back to normal. We'll really get back to the way that where we can really go out and do business. And
Tama, tama.
do we really end up publishing our content there? Are we really that comfortable in converting using videos? Although the beauty of the platform is really more focused on engagement rather than
Mm,
following. So
mm.
that's why there are a lot of pages who don't have content. They just focus on uh, resharing content on
Resharing
their
trending ones.
resharing trending ones on
Mm.
their profile, or doing stitching type of videos. So for me, I
Mm-mm.
think I will use TikTok more for stitching rather. I tried
That's what
creating
I
on my
wanted to
own.
ask you.
Oh,
If
I'm
you are
more
active on TikTok already, I have to check.
not so much, but whenever I get forced to demonstrate it, I would usually do stitches because I think that will make more sense to me.
Yeah, I haven't tried out TikTok talaga. Just last night, um, one of our teammates said that we should create a TikTok. So, ayun, I created the account, but I don't really know how to get started with it because, shy tayo, introvert mode. Like, I don't want to show my face and record a video because I can dance for the heck of it, no? So,
But the
anyway.
question there is, why would you do it, right? I mean,
What's the intention and what's your
yeah,
goal?
yeah. What's your
Because
intention?
Oh, and I think for that yung audience ni TikTok, it's really for the Gen Zs, 'di ba? They're the ones who can easily find something trending or make something trend, like a challenge or what. So, I wanted to ask Miss Janet, do you think for us ba, like the older ones in social media and the practitioners who've been there for a long time, do you think the Gen Zs would be the best ones to create content in our platforms right now?
Definitely, they can provide a lot of inputs, no? For social media campaigns, if you really want to be effective, you would like to hire different people to work on your social media content, because sometimes we get bored or nagkasawa na ba, no?
True.
Nauumay na doon sa topic, no? So sometimes you want to get a fresh perspective, no, on the topic, and getting new eyes, fresh insights, no? Pwedeng makapagbigay sila ng mga ideas. So definitely I agree na whether, and not only Gen Zs, no, even other people, para magkaroon ka lang ng ibang perspective on
Ang angle.
how they can attack the topic, and as long as nandun yung heart niya for content creation. And maybe Flair, kung balikan ko lang ng konti, like yung sa Facebook, di ba? Ngayon nauso na yung
Mm.
Facebook stars, no?
Mm.
Um, ayun, kaya yung Facebook page ko ngayon, nag-guest ako recently sa isang show na yung mga gamers, bago sila maglaro, magsasayaw muna sila for 2 hours. Yung parang
What?
kaldag, no? Kakaldag muna sila. So parang may mga 2-hour challenge, 6-hour challenge. Tapos in between, ano sila. Nung makita ko yon, sabi ko, pwede yan sa akin ha, pero ang ginawa ko, pero hindi ako sasayaw. Sabi ko, magbo-webinar muna ako. Like, halimbawa, I will look at my old deck. So ginawa, tinry ko siya
Oo.
lately. I was looking for all my presentations. Diba may mga presentations tayo na hindi
Oo,
na natin
oo.
na-present anymore. So I was
Mm.
looking at my old decks. Tapos sabi ko, ay ito, pwede ko itong itok ulit. I-update ko siya ng konti. So itutok ko siya ng konti. Tapos after that, maglalaro na ako. Para
For
masubukan ko lang.
2 hours? That's
Parang
really
hindi,
long, ha?
hindi naman 2 hours. Para lumalabas mga 30 minutes yung talk, tapos maglalaro ka ng 30 minutes din. So, parang all of a sudden, ayun na. Tapos meron naman nagbibigay na stars ba?
Okay. What do you play? I didn't know that you play.
Wala, ano nga, boring nga, Sudoku.
Very, very intellectual. And then you can stream it naman,
Sudoku.
di ba?
Oh,
As long as it's
Sudoku.
online.
Skillshare, Sudoku, tapos napilitan na nga ako mag-OBS kasi para kailangan yata talaga nakikita ka habang naglalaro ka. Tapos lately, meron akong nilalaro before, yung mga Ninja Kiwi na games. Kaso may naka-archive
Oo.
na, yung Bloons TD5. So yung last two, yun na nilalaro ko. Pero nalilibang din naman ako. Kasi usually pampantok din siya eh.
Dapat mag-ano na tayo, Miss Janet, yung Kumu. I'm not sure if you tried that platform, but I spoke to Krista the last episode din. When I talked to Chris, he said na okay, there's this trending creator economy. They're mostly also on Kumu kasi yun yung local na platform natin. Have you checked out Kumu ba?
Yes, pero yun na nga ang challenge mo, Flair, di ba? When you have
Mm-mm.
so many channels, no?
Yun nga, yun
Saan
nga.
ka talaga
Mm-mm.
saan ka talaga magfo-focus, no?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Definitely I would like to try it someday, pero
Mm-mm.
sa ngayon siguro parang um pag talaga may ano na, may time na gawin siya. O kaya kung if
Mm-mm.
I really find myself serving mga content creators, kung yun na talaga yung program ko pang content creators na. Kasi karamihan pa rin ng market na sinaserve ko, I still find them yung mga MSMEs na
MSMEs.
gustong matuto ng ganito, gustong
Right.
matuto ng ganyan, and ang talagang tambayan pa rin nila Facebook.
Facebook pa rin, of course.
Oo.
Top platform in the
Hindi ko
Philippines.
audience kasi ang Gen Z eh. Siguro ko sila talaga ang audience ko. Baka nag-TikTok na ako, nag-Kumu na
Or
ako kasi talagang,
nag-Kumu.
pero hindi kasi sila yung nagiging audience ko. Kaya yun din yung siguro yung important, no? Don't just go to the platform because you know it is trending. You
True.
really have to decide who do you want to serve, and
Mm-mm.
how can you best add value to the market that you want to serve, rather than trying to serve everyone, no?
Mm-mm. You end up serving no one in a way. So yeah, Miss Janet, before we wrap up, I asked my guest this question because of course that's the name of our podcast. Can you leave us with one wicked thought?
Naku, hindi ko napaghandaan yun, Meron bang one wicked thought,
But
no?
that's the title of the ano
Oo, kaya
the
mag-iisip ako ng
podcast.
one wicked thought. 'Di ba ikaw sabi mo nga ikaw yung tungkol sa res, no? Siguro yung um, one wicked thought is that
Mm-mm.
I would like to take it from Anthony Ayaniro, yung idea na For every customer you gain, you take it from you're actually taking it away from someone else.
Mm.
So when you do not win a project, or when you lose a client, someone took it away from you, you know.
Ouch.
So I guess if you say you're wicked, you're wicked if you I guess you're wicked if you are able to keep your clients happy, because
True.
you're so obsessed, you're so focused in serving them and trying to add value to them, rather than rather than taking your clients for granted, and sooner or later they have to let you go.
And that's the wicked thought of Miss Janet Toral. So, Miss Janet, thank you so much for being a guest here in our Dash of Social season. Can you tell us where to find you and anything that you want to mention to our listeners and our viewers?
Of course, they can find me on Twitter at Digital Filipino.
Yes, yes.
Since you're listening to a podcast, I think that's the fastest way to find someone. So check me out on Twitter, and just holler if you're listening to this podcast, and it will be great to connect with you.
Thank you so much, Miss Janet Toral, everyone.
And that was the latest episode from Wicked Thoughts. This season is sponsored by the company co-working space in Cebu and Content Dash, a simple and fast social media content planner. Sign up for a free account at www.content-app. Tune in for more wicked conversations right here at Wicked Thoughts.